So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Lisa Favorite Lawyers Title, and today I'm going to do like kind of a two-parter, I think, depending on how much time we have. But I really wanted to start out with the Lawyers Agent One app, which is our #1 closing cost app for all the realtors. And I know that some people here, and we're live on TV, so or whatever. YouTube, but I just want to let you know I have flyers and cheat sheets, and for those of you that are at home, if you do need help, want one-on-one or want to do a Zoom because you can't make it in, that's fine too. I think once I go over this and let you guys know some tips and tricks, it's going to be really easy for you to understand. And please note that this app, it's nationwide. There's so many people that are on it, realtors, lenders, escrow, of course, as reps, but for you guys as realtors, this is going to help you close transactions. And the more little things that I let you know about what this app can do, you're going to be able to see why and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe all the things that are offered to me, and it's so easy and it's right at my fingertips, okay? So I'm going to kind of dive into it. How many of you have already worked with or asked escrow to prepare you any type of net sheet for a client to know how much they're going to net if they were to sell their property? Nobody? Okay. I highly recommend that you do that in the beginning, especially if you're newer. Get familiar with the fees, okay? If you have a buyer that's thinking about buying a property, and they're wanting to know what their payment is, we can have that figured out on this app as well. But if you have a seller that wants to know how much they're gonna net, you can utilize this app as well. But I really want you guys to get comfortable and kind of understand some of the fees, even though they're standard fees that are kind of standard to the industry, you're going to make some adjustments, right? Because every transaction is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to walk you through the downloading the app. It's called Lawyers Agent One. So if you haven't downloaded it, you can. It is in your app store. It is a free app, and it can be downloaded on 5 devices. So I went ahead and put the app name up here, that it's 5 devices, net sheet, quick estimates, and we have calculators that are on there for you as well. 5 devices could be on your laptop, your desktop, obviously iPad, iPhone, those seem to be the most happening ones to have it on, because you can utilize it during an open house. You can utilize it when you're at a friend's house. It's just really, really cool to be able to have that access to it. You might say, well, why would I want this app at my friend's house? Whenever you have those conversations and someone says, oh my gosh, I'm renting right now and this is what I'm paying, I'd love to own a home, how much can I afford? This app will let you kind of sneak away, put some numbers in when they tell you how much you're paying rent. You can let them know exactly how much home they can afford. It's really, really cool. So I'm going to start with some tips and tricks on here. If it would allow me to screen. It keeps kicking me out. Screen share. So here we go. Okay. So Lawyers Agent One. This is the main screen that you're going to see, whether it's on your phone or your desktop. Okay. And up at the top, at the very, very left, you're going to see the little, I don't even know what you call them, but little ellipses. And that's where your profile is. So you're going to want to make sure you go into this profile, put your name, your DRE number, a tagline, your website, any type of information that you want to have that's branded to your brand for Keller Williams. You're going to want to make sure that that's on there for your clients, because anything that you create, it's going to save it, and you're able to do it for every future estimate that you create or any type of calculator that you use within the program, okay? So again, it's up at the top left, above where it says add address, there's about 3 or 4 little, I'm gonna call them a little ellipse, and you're gonna click on that, and you're gonna be able to put that in there for your profile. The other thing that's in here, in case you're looking for something that I don't go over or want a little more understanding, there's another little area under here that's called tutorials. And you're able to do, click on the tutorials, and you're gonna be able to see all the little videos that Palm Agent, who is the creator of this app, has done for you guys to do any type of step-by-step or walk you through a buyer's estimate, a seller's estimate, a sell to net, anything like that, or a 2-1 buy down. There's a lot of things this program can do, but there's a lot of different tutorials and videos in there. And then note at the top too, above the add address, there's a little arrow. Those are also little 2-minute videos that you can download when you're in each screen. So if you get stuck on something, it can walk you through exactly where you're at, okay? So on this one, I'm on the buyer's calculator, so it's gonna talk about the buyer's app. And all these videos are available on the app and also on YouTube. So they really got you guys covered if you have any questions and you're not quite grasping it. Okay, so I'm gonna let you know the other thing that's super important on here is the lawyer's agent one where it says Riverside. You see the drop down at the very top? That is because I've got this right now where at the bottom, you can see, let's just go back up here. You can see at the bottom of your app, it's gonna say buyer, seller, calculators, and premium. Does everybody see that? Okay. And that right now it's defaulting to a buyer. So if we're gonna run an estimate, somebody's thinking about buying a home maybe here in Lake Elsinore, then we're gonna go ahead and be able to put that information in. And it's going to be important because if I was showing property in San Bernardino or Orange County or San Diego County, I want to go up to the very top where it says Lawyers Agent 1 Riverside, and there's a drop down, and see where it says Southern California and Riverside? If I click on that, it's going to give me a little wheel where I'm able to put in the different counties based on where my buyer wants to purchase their property. Okay? Has everybody got that so far? Pretty basic. Little tips and tricks, because sometimes I have agents that'll create, by the way, if you did start to create an estimate for a property that was in a different county, it will tell you you're in the wrong county. Okay, but I just think you should change it just to be up front with it. And that is important because of the taxes. Okay, every property is different, every property is assessed different, and every property has different property taxes. Okay, so I'm gonna work up a quick buyer's estimate for you guys, walk you through it. In this particular one, I'm gonna go ahead and use a property, my niece and nephew live down the street on Yield Avenue in downtown Elsinore. So I'm gonna type in 301, and once I did that and started typing Yield, you can see it automatically popped up. And I'm gonna do that so that you guys can see. It's gonna connect me to what's called HomeLink. And HomeLink's gonna tell me based off of the last time this property was purchased, so it's telling me they found the property, the annual tax was assessed value was at 166 for the tax year of 2023, and that's what the current taxes are for this property, okay? But we know we're creating a buyer's estimate, right? So that means the taxes are gonna change, right? Because for the new buyer coming in, my niece and nephew might have paid a certain price for it a couple years ago. It's gonna be assessed at higher value for maybe the new buyer that's coming in. We know that for a fact. So I'm gonna just hit done, let it calculate for that. And up at the top where I put the home price, let's say if I was to put in there, they bought their home for $425, let's just give them $100,000 equity, okay? I'm just playing around, putting in numbers. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, they wanna buy this house for $525,000. And you can see down here, you've got the down payment. Is the new buyer wanting to put 10% down? Is the new buyer coming in with 20% down? Did grandma and grandpa give them $100,000? You know, there's so many different scenarios. So all you have to do is where it says down payment, just tap on it. And once I tap on it, you're gonna see a percentage or a dollar amount. So don't be afraid of this app, just start playing around with it because it will help you understand exactly what to do. So in this case, I could say maybe the new buyer, they got, I'm just throwing it out there again, making numbers up, 100 grand. And I'm gonna hit done. So we know rates kind of jumped up a little bit, right? They're at about 7% right now. We're gonna give them the benefit of that. So as you see how my app automatically for conventional went to 6.625. If you know that that buyer's talking to a lender and the lender gave them a specific rate, put that in. If not, let it stay at industry standards. This is an estimate. It's not set in stone. You're not gonna get beat up over it, but it's just to add value for that buyer to give them an answer right away, right? And make you guys shine when you're out in the field. So I got the 30-year term in here, and then whenever you see something like miscellaneous or the little, I call it like the little wheel that's by it, if you click on that wheel, you can add or subtract to the closing costs. So maybe you want to ask for a specific item, and if you click the drop down, maybe home warranty, or maybe you're doing you pay for a transaction coordinator fee. You can put that in there as well, okay? And once you do that, it'll ask you if you want to save it, and do you want to save it for every future estimate. So if it's something you're utilizing, maybe a transaction coordinator on every transaction, put that $350 fee in, or $450, whatever you're paying your coordinator, put it in and allow it to save for future estimates. So you hit back. I put home warranty, so let's just put a number in. I'm gonna put what's a home warranty, about $600 right now, $625? Okay. And I'll hit done, okay. So once I hit done, I'm gonna hit back. And see how it says that? Miscellaneous closing costs restored, show for the breakdown. So it's gonna store it and let you know it's gonna be in the breakdown. So then it goes to the city transfer tax, which is 0.0. So Riverside County is a 1.1, which is already gonna default for a transfer. So when anybody transfers a property, okay, they sell it, the county of Riverside, county of San Bernardino, Orange, LA, what have you, charges a certain percentage. And then the city, certain cities, like within LA, Orange County, charge an additional percentage. The only one in Riverside County that does is Riverside, the city of Riverside. So where if you were to purchase a property, they're gonna be paying 2.2% in Riverside City because of the county and the city. Okay, so it's something to know. Otherwise, it's gonna default to the 1.1. So you're gonna be good to go here. If there's a HOA, you know, any type of homeowners, you need to find out if there is an HOA for the property so that you can add that in as well. This particular property, there is no HOA. It's in the historic kind of area in downtown, right there. And then it's gonna default to lawyer's title because it's a lawyer's title app and it's free. However, we want you guys to put in Amy at Lago Escrow. So all you would do is tap on where it says lawyer's title. That screen's gonna come up, kind of hard to, right where that little gear is. I'm gonna hit the gear and see where it says manual calculation. There's a drop down. And then you would calculate based off of Amy at Lago's escrow's fee. So escrow companies have what we call a base rate and a cost per thousand. And I think your base rate here is $350. I could be wrong, so you've got to double check with Amy. And then your cost per thousand, I want to say is $3. I could be wrong again. Oh, and then wants a company name, so I'm going to enter Lago. And I'll make sure to check so you guys know before return. And I'm going to hit continue at the top right. So it went ahead and calculated what the escrow is going to be for that buyer, okay? Rather you have the correct fee, so we're going to double check with Amy before we leave this class today. But there is a cost per thousand, what have you. Now, industry standards, you can always leave it in there too. But it's nice to put in Lago so your client knows exactly what their escrow fee is going to be. And then the closing date, that's important, right? So today is February 14th, it's Valentine's Day. You guys all decided to share some love and come here. But I would, let's say, what's a typical escrow running right about now? 45 days? 30 days? I don't know. And then falls out and then goes back in for those kidding. But you know, if you have an escrow and it's a 45-day escrow, we could put it maybe the end of March. The one thing you don't want to do is schedule a closing on a day that the county recorder's closed. So this Monday, we have a President's holiday coming up. Anybody that had put a property in escrow maybe in December or January, you know, beginning of January, probably wouldn't have scheduled the closing to be on any of the 2 President holidays that are closed, okay? So you want to make sure that you have that all that together. And then I'm going to hit compute. So remember in the beginning I talked to you about the taxes and how it's going to base it off what it was currently? Yes. And now it's going, wait a minute, you're selling the property now, and now it's $525, right? So the taxes are going to go up, which we know for the buyer. So it's going to let me know what the new tax amount is going to be. And I'm going to hit done. This is my favorite part.
And again, you didn't move anything on the city transfer tax, right?
Yeah, you're good. You're good right there. Now, if this was in Riverside City, the city of Riverside, I'd want you to go in, click that button, and add an additional 1.1%. And it will show you that when you're in Riverside, and you pick the property in Riverside.
Okay.
So it's kind of helping you and guiding you, okay? So what I love about this is how many of you guys work with a buyer that says, oh my gosh, I'd love to own this home. This is what I'm currently paying in rent, but this is only what we really could afford, right? So if you look right there where it says $34.91, and that's what we'd have to bring to close. So we've got the $100,000 down, we have some prepaids, and they fixed the closing costs, and I'll show you that as well. But let's just say they told you, gosh, I can't go over $3,200, right? So you'd hit that edit button right under the $34.91. I'm gonna backspace this out to $3,200. I'm gonna hit done. It's gonna recalculate my fees and let me know, hey, you know what, this is what you're gonna have to bring. Go ask grandma and grandpa. Go ask somebody, you know, just if that's truly what you wanna do, because this is the difference. So they have 2 things. They can say, do we wanna save that $200-300 a month? Or bring in an extra 50, whatever thousand it was, or, you know, think of it over the life alone. So they might stick with the $3,400 when they see it on penciled out, okay? So the other thing I wanted to let you know is down here where it says detailed closing costs, if you click on that, And we go through, this is, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
You're moving too fast. On the hazard insurance, what does that identify?
It's just the natural, like the natural hazard, it's a point, I wanna say 3-5% standard percentage, part of the closing costs.
Okay.
I don't,
that's
yeah,
part of the closing cost.
yeah, I mean, what do you guys have for your hazard? Like 0.35?
It says 0.35.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Whoever you guys use, and your hazard disclosure, I think you guys have,
Old Republic.
Snap, NHD, yeah. I would talk to her a little bit, but it's the NHD, it's about 0.35%, so it's just a standard fee that goes in. And then you've got the prepaid costs for the taxes, and then your title fees, obviously, that are in there. If there's something that doesn't look right, and you're like, oh, I'm not sure about that, that's why I highly recommend being newer, that you ask Amy to run some of your net sheets so you can kind of compare costs and know what you're gonna store in here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just so you kind of have an idea, like, hey, you know what, it looks like every time I'm writing an offer, or every time I'm working with a seller, that the termite seems to always be about $675. The home warranty seems to be about $675. A termite inspection seems to be $175. There's so many different fees. You'll start to kind of have a pattern of what the typical rate is, okay? And just know title is based off of, on the buyer's side, it's based off of the loan amount, okay? So when you look at all of this for the title insurance and everything the seller has to pay as well, it's gonna prorate it, and everything's gonna be in there for you. So when I back this out, at the top right, where it says loan details and that little arrow's going up, there's two things you can do. You see kind of like a file. The file is if you want to name it, save the estimate, name this Hilda Avenue, maybe name it after a client and put that in there. Or you could just take this and you could send a full report or a geo report. So if I hit send full report, it's gonna take this and make a really pretty flyer. And it's gonna have it all done nice for you and your client, okay? So this is really cool. It breaks down the home estimate. And you might say, well, I don't really want it to be on 2 pages. I want it to be on 1. Then you click the templates at the bottom, and now I have all these other different choices to choose from. Kind of like the other one, because it's red, KW red, you know. But you guys are gonna laugh. You could even come over here and customize it and change the color, change the language as well, okay, which is huge. So if you have Spanish-speaking clients, you're able to change it for them so that they are able to understand what they're getting into when they're buying a home, okay? This is a huge, huge tool for you guys, even in the flyer portion, which we'll talk about in the calculator. So we've got the full report. I ran this one just as a full report. If I go back, let's say I want to do that again, and now I want to run it as a geo report because the buyer likes the area, but they're not too familiar with the area. I like the geo report because it gives you schools, it gives you nearby, the schools that are in the area, the internet speed score. This one is a 5, so you know if they've got a good internet, they better get in there. Just kidding. It's super cute though. I think it's really cool to have that as an option. And then if I wanted to change that home report, make it look a little more fancier, I just went to the bottom left and typed and hit the templates button on the bottom. So now I could take that same home report and maybe I want it to be around this way. Okay? How cool is this to be able, your client thinks you spent all this time, put this together, and now you just go boop. I can text it to my client. I can email it to them. I would not put this on Facebook or Instagram. Okay? It offers that because of the fact that there's social media content within this app that it allows you to social, say that fast 10 times, social share. And then of course the save estimate. So if I want to save it, I would name it and we can go from there. Or just save it in general or print it. So you have a lot of options on there. Do you guys have any questions on the buy side? Okay, like I said, that didn't take very long. I kind of, took my time, went through it with you. The tutorials that are on there are awesome. I highly recommend you take a look at those if you are wanting to do these more and more often. Watch some videos on the how-tos because it will really break it down for you. You just have to get familiar with it and know what this can do because it's really cool. Like I could just take this and go like that. No, I did it the wrong way. Sorry. Oh, my phone did it. So your phone has different capabilities, by the way. Your phone will, if I was to turn it on my phone, it would tell me if the offer price goes up or down, what the payment would be. So if your client said, well, what if I could get it for $520 or $515? it will let you know in 10,000 increments, just when I turn the phone. Did you turn your phone? Did it do it?
Yes.
Yeah, so how cool is that? Now, she turned her phone, and she's able to see the difference in payments, right? She could text that to her client right then and there and go, hey, just letting you know, we're gonna submit it at this, but this is what your payment will be, depending on the offer that we get accepted. So it's really, really powerful. Okay, the other thing that this kind of does that's kind of nice too is it gives the loan details. So it breaks down the whole amortization, not that was exciting, but it does have that. So if you did need that and they wanted to know exactly how long or what it was gonna be, you have the amortization there, okay? So now I'm gonna walk you through a seller's estimate. So I'm selling my home and I wanna know exactly what is my payment going to be? Or what am I gonna net, sorry, not what my payment's gonna be. What am I gonna net? So if I go into this property, I'm gonna use Heald again as my subject property. I'm gonna type in 301. If I go, and I'm gonna go into Heald. Type in 301. That's all good. Okay, so again, right when I typed it in, the same thing happened on the taxes, but now we're working it as a seller. So I'm gonna hit next. The average rate back then for 2021 was about 2.94. I'm gonna hit compute. So now it's telling me, based off of when they purchased it, what the loan amount was back then and what the average interest rate was, that this is pretty much what they're gonna still owe on the property. Does that make sense? I want you guys to understand how powerful that is. Because oftentimes, we don't know as a title company, we can only tell you what is the deed of trust, the loan amount, and the terms. But we don't know, right? Sometimes we don't know. Maybe last year, I keep using grandma and grandpa as an example, but maybe they hit the lottery and they said, you know what, we want to give you some money to put towards the mortgage of your home. So I'm not saying this is the end all be all, but it's a good idea. Most people that doesn't happen, right? Most people acquire a mortgage in 2021 and this is pretty much where they're at. They've got a good interest rate and it's going to show you the last time that they refinanced. If there was a new loan that had put on between 21 and 24, then that's what you would see. But they didn't do a new loan, they have a pretty good rate. So with that being said, so if we were to go in here and we were to buy this or sell this property and they told you we want $575, we're gonna put that purchase or sell price in. I gotta get off the buyer estimate. See where that broker fee is for the 6%? You guys are all worth your 6%, maybe you have 7, right? Let's say you wanted to change it because you have a client. You're just gonna click that gear and you can put the buyer side and seller side in there. So you split the fees and you make sure that it's on so that the client can see what the listing agent's going to get and what the buyer's agent's going to get. Okay. Are there repairs that need to be done on this property? So I know that the property was already redone when they purchased it. They had done a remodel. So there's really nothing left to do on the property. It's pretty turnkey. So this particular property, I'm not going to put any repairs in it. But if there were repairs that needed to be done, you would just click on that. Maybe type in the amount of the repairs that you think needs to be done. Maybe there's, a trash cleanup. Maybe the backyard needs a trash out, and it's about $1,000 to get somebody to haul the trash away. Then you would just put $1,000 in and be done with it. Okay. And then property taxes, we already calculated that, so we know we're good on there. And we know that the seller's loan balance is about $169 because when they purchased it, based off their loan and based off of what HomeLink told us, this would be the average of what the balance is going to be. And then we have the transfer tax. Again, it's going to default to. And then again, we go to the escrow, take the escrow fee out for lawyers, put in the Lago manual calculation. I'm going to put a base amount again of the $350 and the $3 per thousand. Hit done, hit continue. Hopefully that wasn't too fast. Did everybody catch that? So it's really similar to doing a buyer estimate, but a little bit different because you're going to be adding in, obviously, if there's anything for the repairs, and then you're putting in the escrow, and if there's any other miscellaneous costs. So closing date, I'm going to put in about 45 days. Let's go, whoa, don't go that far. Let's go the end of April. I'll close it on Tuesday and hit compute. So similar again, you're gonna see this come up. I wonder what this one will do on my, only on the phone, so if you turn it around. Okay. One of the really cool things I think about this is how many of you guys, well, a lot of my agents are meeting with clients and they might sit down with them and they're thinking about selling their house and you kind of go over the figures, you let them know, okay, this is what we're seeing, this is what you're gonna net at close. And they go, oh, we have to think about it, we want to, but we're not sure, we're just kind of testing them, they're feeling you out, right? They wanna know, but they're kind of, there's up here at the top right where it says holding costs, okay? Holding costs is basically the longer your home sits on the market. So this is letting them know, look, if you don't decide to sell now, this is what it's gonna look like, and this is what it's gonna cost you every month that it sits.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this is huge. You guys can be using this for social media, okay? It's called holding costs, and it's also I'll show you on the calculators as well. So if this is something that I wanted to share with them, I would just click that top right button like we did before when I hit full estimate. Look at that. I just created a really cool flyer for your client, okay? And lets them know. So you might already do this, right, for your client. You've created the net sheet, you've saved it, and you've also created, hey, if they don't decide to go with me because over the phone they were kind of wishy-washy, they weren't really 100% sure, you could create this and already have it printed out ready for them to kind of show them, look, the longer your home sits on the market, this is what it's going to cost you. So the other thing I want you to know, and when you do that, if I scroll up, see that at the bottom, under the holding, under the red, right there where it says edit expenses, okay? Maybe you know too, it costs these people, they're telling you, God, we gotta sell this house. The electricity bills, $1,000 a month, and we've got a pool and we're paying this much, it's just, the cost is getting a little excessive. So right where it says edit expenses, you can add in, if there's an HOA or the monthly utilities, to really give them a good idea of how much money they're gonna save, okay? So I just want you to be aware of that. All right, going back. So we got that. Now I'm gonna hit compute. And I don't want to.
I think if you slide it back, it'll go back.
Thank you. Okay, again, the detailed closing costs that are in there, you can edit these at any time, okay, on the sell side. So when I look down, it says a termite inspection is $165. Maybe you know that walking the property with that seller and they told you, gosh, we have some termite issues on here, and we're gonna need the termite company to come out, and you find out, you know what, we better pad this and edit that. So I would just hit the edit button at the top right, go down to where it says $165 for a termite inspection, and change that out, and maybe put in what we thought should do what it needs to be done, it's $350, and I'm gonna hit done. But everything can be edited, and once I do that and I click done at the top, it's gonna say, is it for this estimate only or for every future estimate? And I'm gonna say, no, I'm just doing that for this estimate because this house has termite issues, okay? So it's really cool to be able to kind of have that at your fingertips. This is also nice because it says $365,000 is what they are going to, net at close, which is great. But maybe they tell you, hey, I'm not selling this property unless I'm gonna net $370,000. So if you go up to the top where it says 365, and I put in 370,000 now, and hit done, that's what they're gonna have to list their house at to get that 370,000. Okay, so it's doable, but then again, how long is the home gonna sit on the market if they're overpriced? And how long do you wanna be the agent that is paying for the marketing, seeing open houses? So it's really, that's why that conversation, having the longer that your home sits on the market is really nice to let them know and kind of see their options on this. And again, if I click at the top right and I want to send the full report for this net sheet over to my client, I just click that button at the top. And now it's going to have my branded net sheet, okay? And I can customize it with the template down here at the bottom left and change it if I want to, okay? I could even get pretty crazy and put in some property details. It even lets you do photos. So sometimes I tell my agents, this is a seller's net sheet, right? We already know what the photos look like. You've already obviously working with a seller, you're gonna probably get a professional photographer in there. But if you got a buyer, we were doing that buyer's quick estimate, and you were working up a quick estimate for a buyer, on that property details button, you know, maybe it's husband and wife and she's really liking the one and he's kind of liking the other one, you can kind of tug on the heartstrings a little, maybe take a couple pictures of the pool and maybe that was their favorite feature of the backyard, and include maybe the backyard and, you know, the favorite room in the house that they liked of the particular property that they wanted to buy. So it gives you a few little added touches that you can do with that, okay? So I'm gonna get out of that, that's part of that, and then I'm gonna go into calculators, okay? So again, this is a free app. I can't stress enough, the upgraded version is $1 a month, so it's $10 a year. And you might say, well, why would I pay for the upgraded version? It's going to let you do the quick estimates that we did for the buyer for free. It's gonna let you do the net sheets for the sellers for free. It's gonna let you do a lot for free, to be honest with you. But I'm a big component of branding. It's all about bringing a client back to you. So if you could add a photo and kind of keep it more personalized and logo and have all that, and then have access to additional calculators and things that you might need on the fly, that's why I would spend the $10 a year. I just spent $6 on this startup string. So I find it like a small investment to have a lot of content come your way, especially when you see the social media aspect of the scan, some of the calculators. The buy now or buy later was very similar to what I just showed you with the longer the home sits on the market, okay? But what I love about this is what's going on now, because I don't know, a lot of you might be talking to people that said, gosh, I wish I would have bought during the pandemic. And why did everybody want to buy during the pandemic?
Interest rate.
Yeah. The interest rates were really low, right? Sorry, it's the then versus now. I hit the right one. The then versus now. Okay, so the interest rate, right? The 2023 offer, the 2022 offer, and kind of showing them the difference, that makes it nice. They're going to update this. It'll go to 2022 to 2024. It will be coming in the next update, so I don't want you to go, well, it says 23, it doesn't say 24 yet. It will be, and that's what's really cool about Palm Agent is they will update the app accordingly, so I know they're doing it because we just had a huge event yesterday in Pomona. They are a partner with Tom Ferry. I know you guys have Gary Keller, there's Mike Ferry and Brian Buffini, and there's, you know, I call them all the fairies, but anyway, that he does, he's partnered with them, and it's really, really impactful because he stresses a lot about how impactful this app is and some of the content that's in here for you guys to utilize. But this was a really powerful one that they talked about yesterday during the seminar. And it's just basically putting in, you know, the then versus now, what the difference is. And when you really put the purchase price of what it was in 23 versus what they would be paying, the typical difference isn't so much now, it's the house is priced right. Then people were outbidding everybody, spending $100,000 more, but the rate was lower. And when you really see it pencil out on this calculator, you're gonna look at it and go, you know what, there's not that much of a difference in the long term between the interest, and that it might be 50 to 100. So just kind of see that for a seller, go, but you're in a home, or a buyer, sorry, you're in a home that you want, versus back then what was happening. There was overbidding on everything. Buyers were getting into properties they didn't really want, but they were taking advantage of the rate, and now they're looking at it and going, I bought this house, I have a great rate, but it's got a lot of work, or it's, there was no choices. So the ones that got priced out back then, showing them, hey, this is an advantage, and utilizing this calculator is really important. So I could say it's conventional, the list price in 2023, which I'm gonna say is 2024, let's just say it's $650. Down payment, I'm gonna keep it there. The interest rate right there. And then back then, the down payment and the 2022 offer. Let's see. Because they outbid. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so it bumped it up 100 grand. And then I hit done, and now it's gonna compute it. But it's using the past history of the interest rate at 3.625 versus a 6.25. So when you kind of play around with it, it's something to show a buyer, because I feel like some of them are still on the fence and think, okay, the rates. And by the way, all the predictions right now, I know it's the rates coming up to this, was it 6.75, 7%? They're all predicting in summer that it's gonna come back down. And honestly, if your buyer's looking for a long-term home, we know they're gonna be able to refinance down the line. So this is just a small hiccup. You gotta get those buyers in. All right, so again, if I click on that, at the top right, it's gonna give me a really nice flyer. that I can give to my client, and then this is something you can even utilize on your social media. Now, I would use something like this once we update it to the 2024, okay? This would be great for your social media, because you could put on there, you know, don't hesitate, that type of thing, and then you could hit it for Facebook, save it, or text it, whatever you want to do. Okay. And the other calculator I wanted to show you was the sell to net. If I click on that, we get asked a lot. I know a lot of you will. I want to sell my home, but I have to net this, okay? And if that's the case, the net goal, you're kind of you're reversing what we did earlier, right? Now we're going to put in, they want to net 100,000, and we're going to go ahead and put, I'm going to leave the repairs out of it and kind of just keep it simple. But when you do it on the back end this way, you're putting in the 31st of May. Got a net goal. I'm going to add an address in here. I'll use this one in Corona. Yeah, I'll go back to Hill. It's local. Oh, Dean, you went to put Chipotle. All right. Now it's going to tell me, right? We know that's true because the taxes are coming up. I'm going to hit next. There you have it. So that's what they would net. They would get their 200. Now you know they're going to sell it for more than that. They're going to net way more than that. But if they told you that's what they have to net, then you know you're going to base it off the comps anyway. So it's really kind of a cool little calculator to have on there. And then right here under the premium, where you see the number 1 that's coming up on mine. Okay, we have a lot of different social media graphics and different content that are on here that's super important right now. One of the cool things that Palm Agent does, or Lawyers Agent 1, does that when you are going into the app, it's going to let you know what the marketing updates for the month are. So there's marketing features that'll give you options if you want to do something like that. Or you can kind of look through the infographics and see what's on here. There's a lot of cute things on here, filters and lenses for Valentine's Day. There's personalized videos that you could be utilizing for your social media, okay? This is what the dollar gets you, which is kind of a small portion, right? So if I was to look up here and I go, you know, I want to do some type of Valentine's Day, feature or filter, or use one of the swipeable infographics in my story, I would just look at the right side of the swipeable infographics and click See All, because there's a lot that are in here, okay? So you don't want to just look at what's kind of on the first one. So I like this is, the then versus now, how an offer price affects your payment, the longer your house sits on the market, the more it costs you. How about this one, renting versus owning? I just clicked on that one. This is a cute little Facebook post. So when somebody tells me they don't have content for social media, I'm like, go on the app. There's going to be something on here that's going to be a value for you that you're going to be able to use. And all I need to do is click on this share button. And now I can either text it to my client, or I can, put it on my Instagram or Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, or just save it, maybe use it later, okay? So there's some really cool things that are on here for you guys to utilize. This is pretty much all of the app for Lawyers Agent 1. And it's, again, free. Download it, and you'll have access to it, okay? The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the title profile 247. So I feel like you're all new, right? Pretty new? Yeah. There's a lot coming at you, okay? This is a must. The Lawyers Agent 1, definitely start playing around with it. Make sure you have it downloaded, and just keep it in mind. It is a net sheet for a seller, quick estimates for a buyer, and then all the other fun stuff is extra and bonuses, right? And then you have what we call property profiles. So when you get somebody that calls you and says, I have a listing, or I'm thinking about I'm thinking about selling my home, or I want to buy this home, you're going to want to look at pulling up some property information. And there's a few different ways that you can do it. So,
Quick estimates for buyers, right?
On Lawyer's Agent, yeah, so you could do net sheets, quick estimates for buyers, and then there's calculators, and then social media. So we're just, an estimate for a buyer is kind of what their payment's gonna be, right? And then on a seller, they wanna know what every seller wants to know is what are they gonna net if they sell their home? This is a cheat sheet for Title Pro 247. So I put up here, for those of you that came late, the Title Pro 247 is property profiles. Erica is my assistant. She sits inside the office, and she knows that I was having a class this morning, so she is ready to take your email or text, or not text, sorry, your email. If you email her and say, sign me up for Title Pro, she's gonna email you, so before the class is over, you'll have access to it, and you'll be able to log in, okay? So Title Pro 247, I have to get on my computer to do that and do a screen share, so bear with me. Take a little break. Are we doing it on time?
Yes.
Perfect, right, 15 minutes, okay. Let me.
We got all day.
You guys do? Okay, I don't wanna bore you, but I really feel this is important. Customer service can access property profiles for you Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And I want you to be able to know the difference. Now, most of you guys will text me over your customer service requests for property profiles, or you want to know the typical things I get asked is what is, who's on title, right? Can you tell me who's on title of this property? Which means who owns the property? Can you tell me how many loans are on the property? Okay, do you know if there's solar on the property or Hero? We're gonna be able to tell you that, okay? Is there anything you're seeing on the property? They called me, they want me to do a listing appointment. Is there anything that you're seeing that's recorded, that's of record right now that you can see through customer service without pulling a preliminary title report and do the extended search that's showing on this property? And we're gonna be able to let you know and do a cursory look if we're seeing something that's attaching, okay? 24/7, you have access to what's called Title Pro 247. And I want you to see kind of what it looks like at the home screen. All right, let me get you. Just give me 1 second. We'll do the screen share. We'll do the links. Okay, perfect. Know if I'm up. Ooh. Yay! Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm gonna try to minimize this. So perfect. Can you guys all see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna be a hunchback right here. Okay. So a couple of cool things. So online property profiles, that's what I want you to understand. So when I talk about Hero, do you guys understand what Hero is? Okay, it's super important that you know this. So Hero is like a government lien. It's a lien, and you might see it attaching to the property called WCROG or PACE, okay? And it's important because
What was that one more time?
WCROG, okay?
Or you said pace?
Or PACE, okay? And that is paid. Now, have you had any buyers or looked at a tax bill yet where you're gonna see on that tax bill that they have, and I'll talk to you about it when I pull up the taxes, but you're gonna have what's called a general levy, right? Your base tax rate at like 1.1%. And then you guys probably hear about Mello-Roos, right? And then you're gonna go, well, wait a minute, they've got their basic levy, what their home's been assessed at, but they've also got Mello-Roos, right? Which is additional, sometimes, percent or two, depending on how much it is. And then they added on Hero. They did solar, they did energy efficient windows, they did the energy, AstroTurf and grass, or they did installation, ducting to keep for air conditioning, and there's so many different things that they'll do. And basically it's just like any other loan. They sign a contract, it's paid through the taxes, and it's say that. Thank you. Over the 30 years. Okay, or depending on how long that they decided to do it, okay? So you will see a contract and you will know. And that has to be paid to be done, it has to go by, Okay, it's very rare that a buyer coming into a property is obtaining a loan from a lender that says, oh, okay, we'll go in second position behind that. Okay, they want it paid and gone. Okay, so that becomes negotiated, right, depending on when they did it. So if people that have purchased a property, they get in it, they get the hero, they put it on, and then 4 years later, they go, oh, I'm selling the house, and whatever, moving out of state or doing whatever they need to do. The buyer comes along and goes, well, you just did that 4 years ago. And it's cost this much money to pay it off. Well, I don't want to pay it. So it needs to be negotiated, it needs to be taken care of before it closes, okay? And then the solar is obviously transferred, so just